the master brought back a little junior sister. Little junior sister is very talented, hardworking, pampered. Unfortunately, the root cause of the disease fell, distressing. I am wooden and cold. But born with fairy bones, there is a panacea. Tempered into the bloodline of the magic medicine, encounter everything, on the day of naught. The teacher asks for sleepiness, I will cut my bones to get pills. To cure the illness of the little junior sister, then the little sister came, he gave the master a clean slap. Curse him for being a fool, god damn it. Little junior sister returns, bright eyes and white teeth. Slender waist and jade posture, there are bouquets of snow. Also known as the appearance of spring dawn, little junior sister Zhongling Yuxiu. Excellent bone, own to step through the void. Ascension to immortality, little junior sister being carried years. Smile, Lingshu Qingyan, existing girl, another beauty. Little junior sister is the white moonlight in the hearts of everyone in the sect. It is a heartthrob who has fallen in love with countless fellow disciples. The cold master rubbed the color for him. The warm senior brother is fascinated by him. The irascible second senior brother makes a humble gesture. The naughty little junior brother talisman smiled intoxicated on his knee. I hunted to protect my master's fox skin. I brought the blood-clotting hail wand of the little junior sister. I was dying. Gathered garden flowers. It has become the Dharma protector pill of the little junior sister foundation stone. I bear the pain of eternal corpses, condense the blood of the magic medicine. Just to take out the blood of the heart every month. Help the little junior sister wash the bone marrow. Magazines used to I don't care. Because I finally, the same goes for teachers. I also love people like little junior sister who are bathed in snow. However, on the day of my karma, bloodline appearance, it turns out that I have 1,000,000 immortal bones hidden in my body. Having this bone can temper my body veins. Pay attention to my practice. Even the golden elixir I condensed into a spiritual elixir. I couldn't be happier, but suddenly trapped in the circle. Can't move, the master looked at me coldly. Shire is the body of the celestial root, than you, 100 times more talented. For the future glory of the teacher, your elixir will be handed over to Shire. Big brother's eyebrows and eyes are warm. Looking at me crying blood, mild tone, compassion Ling Shuang. You have always been the most sensible, I'm sure you would understand that. The second senior brother hugs his chest with both hands. Unpleasant tone, Shire practices hard, the body falls to the root of the disease. Your fairy bone can help him restore his veins. Don't worry, after this time, I will use some herbs to help you recover. Little junior brother's eyebrows are curved, laugh innocently. Senior sister, you usually care about Shire, I don't want this little thing. It's not that those caring are all acting, right? They're going to rip me apart. And if so, I will have no respect for my future cultivation. I'm going to be a complete cripple. For me, not cool to torture these people closest to me, but want me to face it with a smile. I've always been wooden and obedient. Now my eyes are full of blood. Look confused. Little junior sister is here. He was smiling after seeing everything in front of you. Silence for a few seconds. Master, what are you doing? I couldn't see the look on his face. I only know that his tone seems to be different from the past. I pursed my lips, watching his master and brothers surround him. Hell, what are you doing here? What else did they say? And the next moment, I felt a sword light rushing towards the circle that bound me. I am free, suppressed dead. Spiritual power rushes out like a flood that breaks a gate. That's little junior sister's sword. Kaya Shui's sight restores the light of me. I saw the little junior sister hit the master hard. Slap the master, a girl who has always been gentle and clear. Made a voice that was unfamiliar to me. Are you fucking sick? If you are sick, go to the doctor. My little sister, of course. The little junior sister was locked up. I was also locked up, but no one is forced anymore. No more picking up the order. It was as if I had been forgotten. During this period, the younger brother came to see me. Look resentful. Did you say something to Hell? I don't want to say more. Silence. He's ignoring us now, he scolded us. Little brother gritted his teeth. If the master hadn't trapped him with the rejuvenation lock, he must have escaped. You must have bewitched him. Still frowning, the person who goes to practice if this will be silent. All the spiritual power in the body, soft hands and feet, no more resistance. The master has always doted on the little junior sister. How could you do this to him? What happened a few days ago was also strange. Little brother talking to himself, the secret we do. How could the little junior sister suddenly come to your cultivation platform? Could it be that someone leaked the secret in advance? Although someone, but his eyes searched me, obviously doubt me. Strange to say. How can I not have known? Little junior brother can be so shameless. I'm a little surprised, but didn't say much. I've been restoring my spiritual power these days. I've made up my mind to leave the school as soon as possible. I just don't know little junior sister. Recall his abnormal behavior that day. Complexity flashed in my eyes. I used to take good care of him. It's because the little junior sister has always been very kind to me. Senior sister, why don't you laugh? He picked flowers for me. You are so beautiful. It must look good when you smile. No one has ever sent me flowers. That flower is bright. I put it in a jade bottle. Immortal Che Yin Halo, long time no wither. Sister, I found a rabbit. He grinned. It looks great. I'll give it to you tomorrow. I don't know why he sent me the rabbit. I also checked the method of rabbit breeding. The next day, little junior sister is elated. Send me half a braised rabbit. Every month when I get my heartbeat extremely weak, little sister came to see me, holding my hand and standing by my side all night. He also sent me the list he had accumulated. What's wrong with you? When I retrieved Yuan Linhua's dying return, he came to see me in a hurry. Eyes are red. I'll go to the master to help you heal. I touched his head stiffly. It's okay, he doesn't know. These are for his master and brothers. I just want him to be as white as snow. Away from all this distraction, I used to think. Little junior sister has always maintained such innocence. But didn't I ever have a grudge against him? Never, I thought blankly. From that day on, master wanted to cut me apart and take pills. Maybe my spontaneous resentment, finally a little bit. For the little junior sister who has been standing in the sun, Ling Shuang is not a saint. At the sect ceremony at the beginning of the month, I take advantage of the teacher's door to be blind and uncontrolled. Invite yourself to retire in front of tens of thousands of disciples. Master's expression changed instantly. He was unusually calm. I owe the teacher. In recent years, life and death. Those medicinal materials and elixirs have been paid off. The pain and suffering, I want to be worth the grace of these decades of upbringing. As soon as the news of my withdrawal from the sect came out, aroused a stir in the cultivation world. Some say I have a demon. Some people say I hate my classmates. Some say I'm in love with mortals. So many things have been said. The truth is covered up. Like the snow on the top of Qingyun Mountain, I can't tell what happened to me. Because there is no evidence, and feel guilty, Master Myriad Immortal Bone in my body will think on the pupil door if someone else, more likely to be greedy. If I really quit, without the blessing of the sect, it will arouse the coveting of countless cultivators. But anyway, no matter what. After all, Qingyun sect is the teacher who raised me. My actions are the same as judging a teacher. In the world of self-cultivation, it is necessary to accept. I didn't explain anything to those who were punished by the betrayal sect. They can't do this to me. So the court meeting 3 days later, in front of all the disciples of the sect, will be whipped. I am at peace. Even if you see the brothers and sisters who glowed in the audience. Even if the person who saw the execution was the master. Even if I see the whip in his hand, replaced it with his natural magic weapon, The destruction spirit whip, one side is open, fiercely overflowing. Blood secrets on both sides, damaged veins. Fracture of trilateral collarbone, breaking heart. He didn't say a word, and I looked down. How many edges do you think are left? Then the next second, I heard the disciples exclaim. The hot wounds on the body seemed to be soothed by a spiritual spring. I turned around. I saw my little sister. He's still in solitary confinement, but suddenly appeared here. Take it from me. The bright yellow dress broke into pieces, blood soaked the white band. And his pure white spiritual power, it poured into my wound, has disappeared. Now I'm swaying like a waste. Master Linji's face changed greatly. Called the name of the little junior sister. What concoction are you making? Punishment can be passed on behalf of others. The little junior sister touched the blood on the corner of her lips indifferently. The always cute face is cold. It actually shows a bit of tat-for-tat unruly. Let senior sister go, or the next caning. I helped my sister suffer. Master Lin, she was obviously angry. The master frowned at him, just a long sigh, and then he squinted. You actually made this request. Don't forget, I told you. If the little junior sister has her back to me. He was shaking. I couldn't see the look on his face. Seconds later, he turned his head, showed me a bright spring smile. Sister, I'm here to see you off. I stared at him blankly. His eyes suddenly fixed on his wrist and neck. He has always had snow on his skin. At this time, those bundled red marks have faded, but can't say anything. I turned my head. I whispered a thank you, and then he limped out. Everyone looked at me in silence. The expressions of the brothers and sisters also changed. I went to the door. Finally, I couldn't help but look back. Little junior sister is standing on the punishment platform. The master looked at him condescendingly. Brothers and sisters surrounded. Wrap him tightly. I shouldn't have worried. Little junior sister is loved. Even if left alone in the sect, master dotes. Brothers and sisters love. He'll be fine, but I'm smiling. But negligently remembered countless moments in the past. When the little junior sister drops her eyelashes. Shadows on the face, he is occasionally unhappy. He often sits with me and watches the moon. When I asked, he said with a smile. It's just that today's cultivation has encountered a bottleneck. I think of the tight neck he occasionally pulls. Thinking of that pair of Hao Wen, who was always wrapped in spirit fox skin, he walked up to the surprised little junior sister. The master's expression that had just eased suddenly stiffened. There's some more anger. I don't care. Asked the little junior sister politely. Are you leaving? Little junior sister's eyes are absent-minded. I murmured, where can I go? Follow me. I said, let's go together. I must be covered. I've never done this before. An impulsive decision, or that I used to focus on cultivation. Never pay attention to the things next to you. You really are what I thought you were. Have you always been carefree? I remember when I used to. Occasionally I envy my little junior sister. Master is right about something. The little junior sister is more talented than me. The most important thing for cultivators is Dao heart. I have no Dao heart. So even though I'm practicing swords, but I can't find my life sword. We have been to the mystic realm of 10,000 swords. The little sister soon found her sword, Nether Autumn Water, and my brothers and sisters also found the spirit sword one after another, but I got nothing. Maybe since then, people look at me differently. After all, I can only pick up an ordinary sword without aura. Swordsman has no sword. What's the use of higher cultivation? Senior sister, little junior sister is looking at me. There is a sparkling water in the eyes. But he soon bent his eyes. No, I'm fine here. You remember to come back later. He said here, stuck again, whisper it. Don't come back, whisper it, don't come back. I know all about senior sister. I owe you. Little junior sister's eyes are clear. I don't know if there is any chance to repay in this life. Sorry, I didn't say anything. The punishment elder on the side couldn't help but speak. Enough, Ling Shuang, you are looking forward to leaving the school. We tolerate you enough, you don't leave quickly. But I just looked at my little sister, seriously. I'm just asking if you want to leave. You want to leave, I'll take you away. Little sister looks at me. Ignorance, tears fell, sister, I think. He said it was thundering. I look up to the sky, then I tore off my rope. Round and round, wrapped around the bleeding wrist. Okay, I look gloomy, as cold as the master in this weather. I said lightly that I want to take the little junior sister away. Lin Qi, come here, the master suddenly spoke. And the little junior sister took a step back. Came behind me, take a stand, the master sneered angrily. Take a stand, the master sneered angrily. Very good, little junior sister has chosen to come with me. I said it again, I'm taking her away, gibberish. Big brother couldn't help but speak. Consonants passed away, bewitched by this traitor, penalty. Listen to the order to capture Lin Shuang, into the torture hall, boom. Although King Yun sect is not one of the top 10 sects in the cultivation world, but also famous, the master with the highest cultivation base is Kiddy Shang of Vowels. Just one step away from entering the God transformation stage, become a giant in this cultivation world. The 5 elders have all entered the vowel for more than 7 years. The cultivation base is not as good as the master, but also deep cultivation, except for the tens of thousands of outer court disciples who have just entered the cultivation path. 1/10 of the hundreds of inner court disciples have already established a foundation. One of the best, such as the eldest brother, has settled the order for several years. And I'm just a freshman, even seriously injured. A little cultivator without a natural spirit sword. The master and the elder did not make a move, just look at me sarcastically, start to meet the enemy. After all, the fairy bone and the elixir gave me a greater advantage. My vision is getting blurry, blood trickling down the eyelashes. Bruised, it hurts all over. When my sword broke, sword light flying room, I saw a yellow shadow, standing in front of me again. Then spread out the blood, little sister Shire. I caught the girl covered in blood in a daze. Her skin was as pale as blood, but still smiling at me, I'm sorry. She whispered that although I was impulsive, but I'm not lying. I really want to go with you, I can't go. But you can, her cute cheeks, already stained with blood. I have another present for you. I feel the girl in my arms, slowly burning her spirit body. The seal in his body was broken bit by bit, rich spiritual power. Wandering in my bones and blood in an instant, my cultivation level began to skyrocket. Jindan early Jindan middle Jindan late Jindan peak, such sacrifices are unheard of, unless the little sister, it is the pure yin body that everyone in the cultivation world is flocking to. He is pure yin, he is actually pure yin. That legend can make monks of the opposite sex crazy. The whole body is a treasure. A pure tone body that can generate infinite cultivation speed. No wonder the master and his brothers went crazy to change him. No wonder he always takes care of his body. No wonder they nourished him with a genius treasure. This was originally for myself. Little junior sister's face is pale. Was he arrested? Or cultivate and deliberately work hard to get to the root of the disease? I thought he had to be sheltered in the sect. I didn't expect it to be just a bird with broken wings. My body trembled violently. My mind is a mess. Panicked and stroked the pale face of the little junior sister. Stop, stop, but he just looked at me and smiled. Sister's time with you is my happiest time. In this huge blue cloud, only Lin Shuang, when they did that disgusting thing to him, always say you love him. How ridiculous to love him, all the time, hate the soul that cannot perish with everything. Only sitting next to Sister Dai Shai will calm down a little, master. Probably saw the little junior sister burning the spirit body, the expression became hideous. Tribulation, thunder, destruction, immortal formation, kill with me. This intention to attract thunder and destroy immortals, is King Yun sect. It was hundreds of inner sect disciples who began to rob the formation, boom above the sky. Like a dragon's thunder, roaring, stirring the treacherous cloud waves. Sister, do you know what my heart theft is? The little sister suddenly smiled at me. It's freedom. I hope that one day the sword moves with me. No one is bound. Stay away from these stinky idiots. Stop pretending to be pitiful to them. He laughs, suddenly coughing up blood. I can't hold it anymore. In this life, there are always impulses. A girl who grew up surrounded by ice. The first time I saw that senior sister in white shangsu, he is as cold as black ice, but he gently touches his hat. Call him little junior sister. It's the only happy time in life. When Lin Lin meets the extreme, my palms trembled as I looked at the little junior sister who had lost her breath. This filthy sect used disciples as pawns, only for the selfish desires of the headmaster. Let me cut the valley and take the pill. They speak of love and protection, in fact, only use. Bind the little junior sister in a beautiful and cold palace. Reckless, do whatever you want. They seem to worship the moon with light and wind. Ridiculous, everyone praises the world. It's ridiculous that I was fooled into the valley. Feel nothing, how unfair, I chuckled softly. The broken sword was stabbed into my chest without hesitation. If you are the tears that Wang Xian once shed, you should know, this world is unfair. You are dying, you should know. I made an impulsive decision, now pay with your life. You should know, Shangpur Biluo, Shouwangquan Ling Shuang, today. I'd rather burn with this group of beasts in human skin. Did you know, rumbled the long lingering fairy bone in my body. Suddenly, there was a blazing light. He came out of the wound I opened, white as snow. Slowly Wang Ming became a 3-foot ancient sword. Not enough, it's not enough, my eyes are blood-stained. Put the angry little junior sister behind her. Insert the ancient sword into the lower abdomen without hesitation. Lin Dan trembled and was inspired by me. Incorporated into the hilt of the ancient sword, bone as sword, helped me get through the vow period. The flesh and blood all over his body broke apart. And I didn't do anything. Hit with a sword, hit the sky. In the past, there was Wu Hou Shuang zooming. Xianjin is like a shooting star, a sword frost cold 14 states. Did you hear bro, King Yun sect? That's TSK. It was a dark day. Thunder, inducing immortal formation, won Rizifa, but it was chopped into pieces by the traitor disciple's sword. All the formation disciples were in a coma. The head and elders were all seriously injured and vomited blood. Want me to say even the genius disciples of the 3 sects? It can't lead to such a big battle, right? Break a case with one sword, regardless of that disciple named Ling Shuang. Why did you leave King Yun sect? Now he's going to be famous. Have you seen that sword? I was hundreds of miles away with the fallout, but he actually got away with it. Took away another disciple of King Yun sect. The goods are really fierce. This fairy is not an ordinary person. I really want to meet him. See what he looks like, less such a big face. Why is there no movement from King Yun sect? Why not? Isn't there a wanted notice? Just pay that. The cultivators of the foundation paint should think about it. I heard about the Taikang sect of the last 3 sects, although Taikang sect nominally protected King Yun sect. But King Yun sect is not even 100 major sects. Just a disciple, why are there 3 cases involved? How could Taikang sect go to such trouble? Then no one knows, there are many voices in Mustard City. I'm wearing a hood, deadpan, walk past this group of people who are discussing me. Go straight to Han Zhanglin outside Mustard City. He came to the cave entrance covered by rocks. In the cave, after seeing me, he encouraged me to open his eyes and smiled at me. Senior sister, little junior sister, and I pick him up. Put down the medicine and water you just bought. Did someone just pass by? He shook his head. Then he coughed twice violently, and I said, very simply, no. Senior sister, he pursed his lips. I can feel my injuries recovering. I ignored his recommendation. On my and his palms, without changing his face, each made a cut. Then close your palms and cold voice to concentrate on your energy. When I left with my little sister that day, his breath has almost dissipated. If it weren't for my blood of magic medicine. In a hurry, I exchanged blood with him. He's probably already gone. Pure Kao's bodies can assist others in cultivation. They even burn themselves as the dome. The heaven-defying physique that transforms into the spiritual power of others. After all, it is very fragile. So all these years, those beasts, a trace of blood on the cheek, staring blankly at the dark rock wall of the cave. Are we free? He doesn't know yet. Taking sect, one of the so-called 3 sects, has started looking for us with great fanfare. The cultivation world is too big. But there is one hall, 2 schools and 3 sects on the ladder. It's the real deal. To refute the number of disciples under these 6 major forces. Millions of Zongzang rich strength bottomless. Enough to crush anything that gets in their way. They are afraid that the pure yin body of the little junior sister will be exposed. Attract competition from other sects and always only accept tribute from the sect. But the Taikang sect, who loves to answer and ignore the sect. The reason why I am willing to make a move, it is nothing more than the 3 words pure yin body. It seems that the master is really angry in order to take back the little junior sister. Even this secret is willing to be provided to Taikang sect. Pure cause is not like my immortal bone. Only the modification under the golden core stage can be perfectly accepted. So the teacher wanted to take my fairy bone and give it to the little junior sister. It is nothing more than looking for a power to transfer the fairy bone, just a perfectly transformed container. I mock in my heart, there is no fluctuation on the surface. It doesn't matter, one day, I want to shatter mountains and rivers with one sword. Let this immortal on the stairway also avoid my edge. One day, I want to kill back King Yin sect. Crush that bunch of scum into the dust, apologize for Ling Shuang and Lin Shi. One day, we're not afraid of anything bright and magnanimous into the city. If the cultivators in the world dare not have the heart of coveting, one day, and I look down. Even if not now, we will be free in the future. A smile appeared on his face. Hey, I actually thought about it before. If only I could. I'm going to put those famous delicacies from all over the world. Eat it all, I want to say, aren't you an idiot? But seeing the silly expression on the little junior sister's face, or silently changed the rhetoric. Yes, sister, how about you? Where do you want to go next? The little junior sister turned around and asked me again. Senior sister, where were you from before you entered the sect? Have you ever thought of doing anything else? I was stunned. Zhuangji's face and eyebrows grew up fat by villagers. Later, someone from Qingming sect came, took me away. There is a rift between cultivators and mortals. Mortal life is short, but a few years. And the cultivator can finally step through the void, live for thousands of years at every turn. The day I left, gentle uncles and aunts touched my head. I am happy to say that Frost will be an immortal in the future. And the village chief's uncle also stared at me with tears in his eyes. Listen to the master. I thought to myself they should have known. My departure, maybe never come back, never thought. Practicing for more than 10 years, I left the sect. Will senior sister go back to the village to have a look in the future? Little junior sister Tuya asked. We can go together. I haven't planted yet. It would be nice to farm and raise pigs. And I paused. Besides, I'm on a wanted notice. It's impossible to implicate my past relatives. So where do we go next? Then go there. Beiyu is very vast. It should be different from the scenery here. I heard that Beiyu only Huangsha, vast desert. There are also many camel bell monks. Wow, are there man's camels? I haven't seen it yet. Silent night, only the crackling of the campfire. And the occasional sound of the maiden flute. The ladder to the sky is at the junction of the four domains, but his disciples, most are distributed in the eastern and southern regions. The northern regions are desolate. Although there are many ruins, but it was fraught with peril. The disciples of the major sects are unwilling to go to the northern territory for experience. The little junior sister burned the spirit body. I can't help it. The sect brand in the body has long been painted. But there are still some spiritual power fluctuations left. Come looking for our monk with a wanted notice. But their cultivation is not high. I am now in the cause period. The little junior sister also broke through to the golden core stage. In addition, he and I both have special constitutions. Always escape silently. There is a kind of dragon grass in the northern region. The little junior sister, with her cheeks hidden under the veil, convincing me naturally, used that spirit grass. The sect brand in our bodies can be completely removed. He knows all kinds of things. We stop and go along the way. I have seen a lot of scenery that I have never seen before, accidentally passing villages run amok. Little junior sister and I cut off the offending peach tree with one sword. The people in the village brought us many local specialties. We can't take it, only in the ring bag, there's a kid. I sent my own grass butterfly to my little junior sister. And I was given a grass dragonfly, pigtails. This butterfly was tied to the autumn water by the little junior sister. He likes making sword ears very much. He also carefully injected spiritual power, for fear that the butterfly will wither and break. After we approach Beiyu, there's less greenery around. There are fewer and fewer prying eyes around. I'm getting more and more relaxed. After all, the cultivation world is so big. Finding two people is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Maybe Tai Kangzong will give up slowly this evening, although the hands are temporarily abundant. We didn't see the shadow of the dragon grass, only some repairs. The cultivation method, and the not-so-high-quality magic weapon medicinal pills, and the inner alchemy of spirit beasts. I'm a little disappointed, but I think it's expected. Pulling the little junior sister to leave, however, at this moment. The last item for the auction has been placed. The hands of the little sister trembled. The fingertips that hold my wrist are freezing cold. She has extremely beautiful long snow-white hair, exuding a pearl-like radiance. Only a small half of the delicate cheek is exposed. And the most striking thing is, in her white hair, a pair of pointy ears that are not human emerged. A long tail is also wagging behind. There was a commotion in the audience. I heard the sound of gasping for air, and the swallowing of saliva. The air throughout the auction house, quietly scorching hot. The auctioneer is talking on stage. His mother is the famous eight-tailed cat of the demon clan. You all know that eight-tailed cat has a cold constitution. His descendants are very likely to have yin veins. And this lot happens to have 9 yin veins. In the world of immortals, it is known as the little pure yin. It's also good for cultivation. The little junior sister trembled, and my eyes are getting colder. The ancient swords in the conjoined body began to hum softly. 10万 starts at 0点. 11万、15万、20万. Auction is hot, as if detached from the unattainable decoration outside. There was a mocking arc on the corner of my lips. We temporarily fail this time, go to the ruins. He also found many high-level medicinal pills and magical tools. I ripped off my black cloak, sit back. The competition under the bidding bar is getting fiercer. I shouted 1 million full. Sit silence, little junior sister and I are betraying the sect. I just had time to get the ring and wear it. It doesn't belong to any sectarian jurisdiction. Mostly loose practitioners, they don't have that many resources. Sure enough, after the $1 million prize, the auctioneer announced with a smile, the last item is ours. Senior sister go. I looked up and saw the wolves around me. Monks watching us, say lightly, it won't be so easy to let us go. You know, we are wanted, keep a low profile. It shouldn't have been this extraneous, but he just looked at me. Girl on stage has a pair of exceptionally beautiful ice blue cat eyes. A desperate plea for help, buried under a lake of tears. Maybe from the day of the little junior sister. When you break the circle of breaking bones and taking pills for me. There was a raging rage in my heart, the look that never goes out. Swear to burn up all injustice in this world, injustice. King Yun's sect has rules, clear virtue and sincerity. Care for the common people, outload, clear conscience. They probably just thought those 16 words were a joke. But my 20 years as Ling Chuang never have a clear conscience. And I took a breath, if we're not mistaken. Are you two women? What do women need? Yin vain violence licking heaven. I am a disciple of the second elder of the Hunting Mountain sect. If you transfer this piece to me, Hunting Mountain sect will definitely be rewarded. And I went blank, drawing a longsword at random from the ring bag. Flip your wrist. The spiritual power of Reiki exploded instantly, the tides of power that cause a world. The wind blows in the auction room, my black robe wrestled, volley up. Look at this group of monks whose expressions have changed, ask coldly and want to rob people. Silence, junior sister sees this, I gradually shake a badge. The huge cage sees the light, pale as bone, immediately let the spirit dragon made of Tiash Wongan turn into powder, no one dares to move again. I can only watch helplessly. Consonance unlocks the magic circle that binds the girl. Put on a rope for him. I glance coldly at the people in the auction room. Throw a ring to the auctioneer who is being filial. Inside are 1 million snacks. Can we go now? Of course, of course. He wiped the sweat from his forehead. After ordering the ring and wearing it, squeeze out a charming expression. Please call the little junior sister first. The girl who was weak on her back and almost fell to the ground. Leave with me. It was quiet, floating on the little junior sister without a word. He wouldn't budge, like a dead man. Wait until we get rid of those unwilling but helpless eyes. Come to the resting grove. I just asked this girl. Where do you intend to go? The girl is raising her eyes. Like I didn't hear what we said. He repeated my words in a trance. Where am I going? Yes. The little junior sister handed him a roasted sweet potato that he bought during the day. Where are you going? I'll take you there with my sister. His icy blue cat eyes widened slightly. Don't I have to follow you? Of course, the little junior sister dragged her chin. You can't follow us either. It's not safe around us. He looked at us blankly. I was photographed by you. Don't use me. After a long time, he said incoherently to me. I thought with this blurted word, it gives me an indescribable feeling. He glanced at the little junior sister, but I saw that the little junior sister's expression also changed. Seems a little sad and a little depressed. I know he's feeling it, so I thought about it. Take one out of the ring bag. Flower pinched it and found it. Fickle petals spread out, flying in the air. Shirasuka is most loved by fireflies. Whisk to stand, scattered will attract fireflies all over the sky. Soon fireflies emerge from the jungle. Gather around us, little by little, like a dream. In the quiet night, these flickering lights are like catkins. In the whole bright space, as if there were only 3 of us left. Wow, little junior sister's eyes are sparkling. Senior sister is so beautiful, the girl didn't even blink. Looking at this beautiful scenery, I whispered that you belong to no one. All of us belong to no one. You are free. The girl who was rescued called herself Hu Xiaoyu. Her family, the 8-tailed cat, was originally quite powerful. But because of the special constitution, coveted. There was a catastrophe not long ago. Several major sects joined forces. Quietly attacked the 8-tailed cat family. A river of blood flowed that day. Thousands of people died, wound, sold at a high price, if it weren't for me and my little sister interfering. It is also difficult for Hu Xiaoyu to escape her tragic fate. Mention this girl who was originally like a pool of stagnant water. A cluster of raging flames ignited in the eyes. Grit your teeth and say I'm going to make them pay with blood. my little sister, and I asked him who his enemy was. I don't know how many people there are, he shook his head. Although there is constant competition between demons, monk, I only remember that the leading cultivator has entered the god transformation stage. But one of them, I saw a cloud of fire drawn on his token. Huyan, I thought about it, Huangxizong cultivation world. There is no shortage of sectarian enthusiasts known for their ingenuity. Haizhong is one of them, although he is not on the ladder. But it is also one of the 100, and they're in the top 3. It can be said to be several times stronger than King Yun sect. This hatred, Hu Xiaoyu, who has just settled in the base period, obviously can apply. My mother gave me a piece of spiritual jade before she died, said to be a gift from an old friend. I can go and get help, Hu Xiaoyu said, after being kidnapped. I hid Len Yu in my dungeon and sealed him. I thought, if this has always been the case, if you use this spirit field, I'm afraid it will also implicate my mother's old friend. But after getting out of trouble these days, I try to channel spiritual waves. Sister Essie, Sister Ashwang, thank you for saving me. Shall you after the big revenge? Will definitely come to find you, great kindness. In this life, only the grass string ring is rewarded, that's not necessary. The little junior sister smiled and touched his head, but if Xiaoyu, you will become a very powerful person in the future. You can come to my sect with my senior sister to be an elder. This will also deter the bad guys. Hu Xiaoyu couldn't help laughing. Do you want to see the sect? Well, the little junior sister said. But I won't name it. It depends on the senior sister. Hu Xiaoyu and little junior sister looked at me together. 2 pairs of eyes, a pair of bright blue, a pair of black and clear. Full of hope for the future, I was stunned. I did say to my little sister once, wait until the dust settles. Take him back to his former hometown. Maybe we can also build a sect. Just a place to settle down. I just didn't expect it. In addition to the joke of small talk like this, little junior sister will remember so clearly. I said it's called following the heart. Wish one day, be at ease. The sky is high and the sea is wide. We can live freely in this vast continent. Don't be afraid of anyone's elbows and shackles. I see it at will. Little junior sister smiled and bent her eyes. It's called following the heart. Hu Xiaoyu held her face and said, quiet night, moonlight star sports. We sent Hu Xiaoyu away to find her old friend. I rested for a night in the woods on the edge of Jiayu City. Little junior sister sitting on the tree watching the moon. Humming out of tune, a pair of legs swaying. Shake off a lot of leaves, one after another. It fell on me who was practicing swordplay. I swept them away with sword chat in silence. Leaves gather along the tip of my sword. The wind is about to disperse. While practicing swordplay, he started to play with the leaves. The butterflies on the hilt of the autumn water sword are dancing through the fallen leaves. And in a daze, there was life, he said senior sister. We will go to the eastern regions to see dragons in the future. I've long heard that there are dragon balls bigger than the face basin there. I said yes, he said senior sister. I read a secret art book in ancient books before. I dressed him in a robe, looking at the moon quietly. I thought to myself, the moon is so round. Why was it when I was in King Yun sect before? Didn't find it, I didn't think at the time. Little junior sister and I can go to the northern regions. I can't go to the eastern regions either. He can't practice cheats. I can't compete with him for 3 battles either. Those days of dancing swords against the moon and chatting about the future. Forever stuck in this one night, can never go back. The next morning, we are on our way out of Jiayu City. Officially rushed to Beiyu. Behind Jiayu City is Beiyu's wrong coffin. Little junior sister said senior sister. I heard that the coffin can see camels, play him. Before he finished speaking, he said a sword. Stab me and take my little junior sister to hide. The sword follows our body with great dexterity, spicy stab at my limbs and meridians. The little junior sister pulled out her sword. Fly this sword with autumn water. The whole person turned pale. Hold me in time. And I looked at this one, and it was parked in front of me. The red longsword that was still trembling slightly, his expression gradually cooled down. As expected of a pure yin body that is rare in 1,000 years, there was a faint laughter by the woods. A man dressed in red appeared in front of us like a ghost. Even Chiang can stop it. I was silent. Protect the little junior sister behind me. Look at him expressionlessly. You are the Ling Shuang who sentenced Qing Zong, right? The man in red laughed. It's still in the vow period. Is this Wangxian Valley? Brush hasn't responded yet. It was surrounded by Jin Shushan's decoration in all directions. Their formation is extremely delicate, staring at us coldly. One of them stepped forward and saluted the man in red. The formation of the third elder is no longer good. No one will come again. Immediately, an extremely majestic spiritual power fluctuation, indestructible. My hands got cold. Our heart is slowly getting cold. Xingyu Shuyu Taking Sect Space Locked, one of the Taking Zong Mountain Protection Arrays, Kyongkun Array. You can gather the power of all disciples to hide the space. Every monk here, they all have the strength to approach Jindan. And the leader, you can briefly use the power of the entire formation to attack the breaker, and this third elder who faintly exudes a sense of oppression. Obviously, the strength is a whole level higher than me. The arrangement of the universe formation during the unsheathed period takes time. Apparently they're lurking not far from us. It's been a while. Good Taking Sect. What a big hand. You should also know why we are here. The elder's eyes shone with a strange light. Sneer. Taking Sect is still a sect of King Yun sect. Invited by him, arrest to traitor disciples. Now the sect order is here. Take it easy. I also sneered. Shameless. I know what dirty thoughts I have. Still saying such sanctimonious words here. It's disgusting. Be careful when the little girl speaks. 1.3 The elder narrowed his eyes. A red light flashed in his hand. Disgusting to me. Slap it hard. The celestial body needs to be intact. You can dig it out even if you die. Just for my eldest disciple of Shan Ling'an, I stepped back. I tried my best to block his casual blow. My heart sank again. I'll go with you. Just let me go. Senior Sister Lingxi. I turned to look at him in amazement. Sister, he looked at me. There seemed to be something glittering in his eyes. Then he smiled. It's okay, sister. I'll go back and admit my mistake to the master. He won't blame me. I'll be fine too. My hand is slowly clenching, made a creaking sound. I asked word by word why you should admit your mistake. It's the greedy ones who are at fault. It's a sect with evil intentions. It is this unjust cultivation sword. Lin Chi, where did you go wrong? What did we do wrong? Little junior sister bowed her head, avoid answering, changed the subject. I'm having a great time these days. I no longer speak, just raised the sword in his hand. Standing in front of him again, your senior sister doesn't seem to be willing. The expression of the third elder who has been watching the play is bloody. The hand slowly tightened. It's sisterly love. I just want to know too. Boom, that one is called Chiang. The sword stabbed my chest violently. I hear. This elder Den Yang, who is quite famous in the cultivation world. Sound quality asked, the cultivation of a mere vow 7. How do I protect the two of you? And I closed my eyes. The heart is beating harder and harder. I feel the immortal bones inside me. It trembled again. I didn't name him. He already has spirituality, can feel my anger and pain. The nameless ancient sword burst out of the sky, stained with my blood, like a needle and thread high above, blocked the red sun. Chiang City's leveling tool is in front of my myriad immortals valley. But as if born, this shivers. Third elder's expression immediately changed. Look at me gloomily. Sister, we are going to fight side by side again. I said, would you be afraid? The girl with her head down just now, as if touched by something. Some wooden people raised their heads, a pair of lost eyes, made my eyes, as if stagnant water had been hit by a stone, stirred up ripples. He said softly that he was standing beside senior sister. Lin Shi has never been afraid. It's not what you're afraid of. I'm not afraid of dying. What I am afraid of is that my senior sister will be implicated. I'm also caught in such a quagmire that I can never break free. I said you once said, your Tao heart is freedom. Give up your freedom for me, that is to give up your Tao heart. He can understand what I mean. I want to break the sky with a sword. Let this rain no longer hold me back. I'm not looking at him. Just a move, back to back with him. It seems to be able to get off the thin shoulders of the little junior sister, draw strength. Me, too. Ling Shuang will not be afraid, won't go back. Boom, 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 I'm flying again. But the blood patterned out on the ground. 3 elders are high, look at me. Like looking at something worthless, overreach. I turned my head with difficulty. I saw the junior sister who went to break the formation alone. It has been suppressed by the disciples of Taking sect. One by one, the spirit mark fell on his body. His straight back was bent inch by inch. The side of the wrist has been branded with the mark of the seal. He also turned to look at me. The eyes became red in an instant. I saw him open his mouth, say sorry silently, sorry, sorry. I saw the autumn water rattling to the ground, lost all luster. I see it, the butterfly he carefully tied to the hilt of his sword. The one that once shuttled through the fallen leaves, dancing and beautiful butterfly. Falling into the dust, trampled and broken. A deep sadness suddenly rose in my heart. Suddenly I can't help but laugh. Smile, laugh, tears rolled down from my eyes. And the dripping of blood soaked my whole dress together. Sorry, sorry. I'm sorry. What are you sorry for? Who did Lin Shi and Ling Shuang ever apologize to? Uncontrollable strength almost filled my entire body. But then I heard a commotion behind me. Hold him down, and I turned my head. There is a fire in my eyes. That is the body of the little junior sister. The seal on his body is chapped inch by inch. It uses the method of burning gold pills. From fingertips to arms, every inch of his skin. A strange white flame spread. And again, he burned himself again. The third elder, who has always been light, the expression has completely changed. But can't seal my golden core, burning Jindan, only I can stop myself. Knowing that you can hold us down at will. Little junior sister coughed up a mouthful of blood. I want to leave, can you stop me? But if I want to die, you can't stop me. Let go of my senior sister, otherwise this body. You can't get anything, little junior sister, my voice is almost bleeding. Almost jumped in front of him. I want to put out the fire on him. Stop, you stop. His eyes are bright and gentle. You know what? Freedom. It's not just about being free. It's when I want to do something. I have the right to choose. Lin Shi wants to keep senior sister. This is what Lin Shi wants to do. It is also the freedom of Lin Ji's choice. Boom, the white fire raged down his neck. The originally struggling third elder. Don't care anymore. We let him go, you stop. After saying that, he flicked his sleeves. It actually directly scattered the formation of this world. Sister, leave. Lingxi is still smiling at me. Maybe one day, we can meet again, tick-tock. The blood is still flowing. My vision is blurry. Before, I couldn't find my Tao heart. And then I got a sword forged from my bones. Ling Shuang, why did you pull out this sword? Is it because of hate? Is it because of Yanzhang? Is it because you want freedom too? I heard myself whisper, no, neither. What about Ling Shuang tomb? Ling Shuang just saw the moon. I saw a butterfly tied to the autumn water. I saw Hu Xiaoyu looking into my blue eyes. I saw the day before leaving the gate, the little junior sister floating on me. The shallow curvature of the raised lip corner. I have seen the beauty in this world. This is everything I want to protect. The blood trickled down my eyebrows. I raised my sword expressionlessly. He was also on fire. It's not miserable white. It's very light gold, Radical over transparency. Little junior sister, my diehard is a guardian. My voice is already hoarse. Ling Shuang draws his sword for protection. I can't leave today. I know. I learned the secret of little junior sister's sterling silver body. Even after letting me go now, I can escape if I'm seriously injured. Little sister is so smart. I wouldn't have thought of that. But he probably also had some naive expectations. I want to beg these wicked people to let me live. How is that possible? The golden flames spread to my fingertips. Blood at his feet, the bright light that feeds him. I don't want to run away at all. There are some things I am willing to protect with my life. This is my way. It's the path I choose. That's why I drew my sword. The flame on the little sister's body has been extinguished. Look at me blankly. Mood breakthrough. I am mortal. The cultivation base has risen again. Do immortals also have compassion? Can the immortals also see the suffering of the world? The immortals also know that a mere bone. Will it be eaten away? My elixir is melting inch by inch. I thought of the immortal bones. Why did you choose me? I'm obviously such an incompetent person. The flame on the ancient sword is getting hotter and hotter. I had several fractures on my arm. The blood was drawn by the ancient sword. The flames licked my wounds, but I didn't notice it, because one day, I would be willing to protect something. Burning life, my hands hold up the ancient sword. A simple sword, the appalled third elder under his command. The Taking sect disciple who fled in a panic, small as an ant under this sword. I have the 6 young sword, Fang Fang Kenji. Cloud boom arrow past, silent, the whole land is in ruins. I can't support my body anymore. Fell down, sister, I will take you away. I heard my sister say to me with a crying voice. I wanted to comfort him. But I heard a loud roar out of thin air. Dan Yang, you piece of shit. How did you catch a Jin Dan Beckham and make yourself like this? And the third elder, who was slashed with blood by my sword, already embarrassed, even broke a hand and a foot. Kneeling on the ground, trembling, said Big Brother. I was careless this time. I'll see how you explain to the sect master when you go back. The white-robed old man who suddenly appeared glanced at me closely. My meridians tremble. Vomiting blood again, it was pitch black. Grand Elder of Taking sect, I'm afraid it has reached the edge of the distraction period. This is an enemy that I can't defeat with my stunts. I know, it's all like this. I tried my best, but there is still no way. Take the little sister away. I opened my mouth. Drop by drop, fall into my lips. It's too bitter. Little junior sister rarely tears. I never knew his tears were so bitter. He was taken away. My vision is pitch black. Can't see his expression, only know his fingers. Pulled away from my palm one by one, his voice was muffled. The breath is gradually fading away. I scratched in vain on the ground, but only caught one hand of grass mustard. I was at a loss for a moment. I just thought it was the broken butterfly. Only these mustards are left to be trampled. And the great elder stopped in front of me. So many disciples of my Taking sect died. The third child also lost an arm and a palm by you. Taking your life is not enough to make up for the fairy bone in your body. The old man has a little fun. Your bloodline is not like ordinary people. Just in time to take it back to the pharmacist, I stood still waiting for death to come. But this space seemed to suddenly become quiet. Ho! A casual laugh suddenly came from not far away. A few bad old men bully a little girl. Taking sect is really more and more eye-opening. Who is coming? The elder scolded sharply. Taking's on service. I hope you will not interfere. What if I say I want to intervene? The lazy girl is approaching, gradually cold. Too hasty. Others are afraid. I'm not afraid. The wind is blowing between heaven and earth. The two seem to have already met. I heard the wind roar and thunder remembered. The woman laughed wildly. I'd like to see it. The person I want to protect. Why did you take it away from me? But I don't have the strength anymore. He passed out in a coma. Dark silence. In a trance, I lay unresponsive in bed, body and soul. It seems to have turned into nothingness. I don't know how long it's been. I seem to hear someone ask me, "Do you still want to live?" My fingertips move, a thought sustains me. I want to struggle out of this darkness. I want to live, I want to live. I still have things to do. Someone held my hand and called out to me, "Sister Ashwang, you must get better. There are many people talking next to me. His current condition is exhausted. Most of the elixir was destroyed. I'm afraid that in the future, the sect master, this girl is already a cripple. Not on him. Why don't I know where I am now? I don't know who saved me." I just hold the mustard in my palm firmly. So groggy, I subconsciously touched my palm, but found nothing, suddenly remembered. But my limbs are limp. I fell again in vain. "Are you looking for this?" And suddenly somebody handed me a little bag of tips. The sect master said that you hold your hand and refuse to let go. "I'll put it all in this little bag for you." I look sideways. This is a girl in a bun, face is round. The eyes are also round. It looks so cute. And he's looking at me curiously. "What are these grasses? Is it a precious elixir?" I shook my head. "Speak up." I just discovered my voice. It's so hoarse that I can't hear the original voice. "Who are you?" "I'm Bean." He smiled at me. "It was rescued by our master." "Who is his master? Why did you save me?" "I don't understand, but there is no longer any intention to pursue." I just looked down. "Look at the bag in your hands." Lest the spiritual power blessing, the butterfly shattered into grass crumbs has withered and turned yellow. Not as good as the past, it's like consonants. He burned and shattered in front of me. Finally taken away, like a heart without feeling. At this moment, it hurts again. I hold the bag ignorantly. There is a cold liquid falling drop by drop. Back of well, big sister, are you crying? Bean is a little flustered. Did the beans say something wrong? No, I was wrong. Incompetent person like me. I thought I could bring my little sister out of the quagmire. I think I can protect my little sister well, but in the end I can't do anything. The first time he burned the spirit body and sacrificed me. The second time he burned the elixir in exchange for my only way out. More and more liquid is falling into the bedding. Bean looked at me in confusion. But the master said, "You did your best. I want to do my best." But I tried my best and still can't protect anything. I listened to Xiaoyu. Sister said you still have someone to save. So you have to take good care of yourself to save that person, rescue right. The little sister who saved people was just taken away. I still have to figure out a way to rescue him. And I sat up really hard, look up at him. "Satsuki, be nuts. Sister Xiaoyu was by your side, but you've been unconscious for too long." "Sister Xiaoyu went out some time ago. The master said he wouldn't be back for a long time." I suddenly realized that this sect master is Xiaoyu's mother. "Old friend, thank you, Doozy. Who is your sect master?" I seriously asked. "Can I go see him?" "Okay." The bean smiled. "The master said to find him when you wake up." I follow a winding road, walked into a dark hall. This is the Nangwu Palace. The sect master is inside at this hour every day. Bean pointed to the closed door. "Big sister, go find him yourself. Beans are going to pick medicine today." I nod my head. "Thank you" to him, tapped twice on that door. The door opened by itself. I looked in, vaguely saw a sword hanging on the wall. And in front of the sword stood a woman wearing a veil. Turning around and looking at me, he is wearing a purple dress. There is a pair of narrow and charming phoenix eyes, a red mole at the corner of the eye. Looks gorgeous and sentimental, swaying, and his palm wrapped around a small white snake. The little snake is spitting red apricots at me. After he gently pressed his head, "Be honest again," my gaze. On the bright jade bracelet where the wolf rings collided with his hands. Snow bamboo wreath poison lady, on the ladder. There are 2 living doors and no yin doors, everyone in the cultivation world knows. Before going up the ladder without a yin door, one of 2 doors. There is an underworld called the Gate of Death. Decades ago, there seems to be a disturbance on the ladder. Many monks died. From then on, the dead door was expelled from the positive. All monks who have experienced this, they don't talk about it. The door of death has fallen into the devil door that everyone shouts and beats. And Mr.'s jealousy Linlin, he is the new sect owner of the dead door in that turmoil. Rumor has it that he is poisoned. The natural spirit beast is a snow bamboo snake that is one of the 9 poisons. He raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard the words. It looks like you're not afraid of me. Rumors in the cultivation world. What is true? What is fake? I asked him. I only believe what I see. It's an undeniable fact that you saved me. I didn't want to meddle. But who shall use mother once saved my life? He begged me. Linlin carelessly touched the snow bamboo snake. And I said yes. I asked where Xiao Yu had gone. He wanted revenge. I recommended him a good place. He yawned. Yao Feng Sword has the remains of the ancient divine beast 9 Lives cat. If he gets the inheritance, that happy gate is not his general at all. Yao Feng Sword Yao Yu, one of the 10 dangerous emperors. 9 deaths and no life. I suddenly looked up at Du Linling. Haven't spoken for a long time. What, you want to ask me? Why not just avenge him directly? Du Linling laughed. Your name is Ling Shuang, right? Some time ago, the cultivation world made a fuss. King Yun sect rebel sect disciple. His eyes searched me for secrets. My bruised hands at the tips of my fingers. The hatred in you is no less than that of Xiao Yu. I still didn't speak. It's with a little girl who was taken away by Taking sect. Is it relevant? She said. I caught a familiar scent when I arrived. I slowly clenched my hand. The images passed in front of me one by one. I seemed to be back in time. Little sister's finger, one by one. It was pulled out of my palm. I'm suffocating with pain. I understand that my hatred has nothing to do with you. And I looked down. What's more, Xiao Yu is like me. Probably just want revenge. He chose to go to Yao Feng Sword. And if it were me, we'll make the same choice. That's weird. Du Linling looked down at me. I thought you were going to beg me to save that little girl. Asked if I begged you. Will you help me? Then if I say yes. Will you beg me? He mused for a moment. Or what else would you exchange for? I will say without hesitation, even the bone in my body. Time seems to stand still. You haven't heard. Not exposed. These 4 words. He smiled. Tell me such a big secret like this. This is for the wife. It shouldn't be a secret anymore. I whispered. Ling Shuang has nothing. Only this body remains. I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. I'm not interested in your bones. Brenlin waved his hand. There's no way to save that little girl. I wasn't disappointed. Because I'm not surprised by this answer. You've never been on the ladder. I probably don't know what the Taking door looks like. King Duling suddenly said again. Millions of outer court disciples in Taking sect do not mention. 30,000 inner court disciples have established a foundation. The disciples of several main peaks are all Jindan stage. Chief disciple, it is also the cultivation base of the nascent soul stage. The 7 elders have been unsheathed for more than 7 years. The 3 long religions are the cultivation base of the distraction period, and that immortal suzerain. This cultivation speed is already shocking. But if it were against Taking sect, it is tantamount to Tang's arm as a car. Although I do not reject this Taking sect. But it's impossible to openly confront him. He crooked his eyes. You even want to rob people. Say this roughly. Chinese people will think you are crazy. I don't have much time. I'm just saying. Madam, thank you for saving your life. But Ling Shuang may not be able to repay you in a short time. I thought your stealing heart was broken. But now it seems so firm. He was just taken away. Not dead. And I looked down. He's still alive. I'm going to save him. If he dies, I killed everyone who killed him. Bury him where we agreed to go together. Then you can rest assured. With your junior sister's physique, I can die if I want to. Du Linling looked at the sky outside the palace. And they're not going to do anything to him anytime soon. I was stunned. Why is the pure cause precious? It is impossible to alarm the Grand Elder of Taikang sect. Du Linling sneered. He is in this cultivation world. It only appears in ancient books and legends. The bloodline can revive life. Spiritual energy can generate spiritual energy. And his reason, do you think everyone can get it? I guess no one wanted to hit him before. But unfortunately, they can start, because if you force him, will only be poisoned into the body, sucked into a mummy. Apparently the reason is still with you. King Yun sect's master's eyesight is not enough. Of course I don't recognize his physique, I muttered. Celestial body. That's the legendary shortcut to immortality. Innate body, even as long as it's by your side, can fuel your cultivation, Du Linling said. You don't think you're simply gifted to practice so fast? If I were the head of the Taikang sect, I would definitely nourish him well. The reason for absorbing him, break through the integration period and the tribulation period in one fell swoop, direct Dachang ascension. Du Linling said leisurely that I had calculated, from this day. The most recent days are at the Wanzhong conference at the end of this year. Just in time for the Taikang sect to host. Of course, if the sect master succeeds in ascending, then there is no need to compare this Wanzhong conference. Taikang sect directly ranked first, unified cultivation world. The conference is held every year. The sect wants to attack the position above the ladder. That's less than a year away. In less than a year, my fingertips are in the palm of my hand. An indescribable despair suddenly rose in my heart. But right now, Du Linling suddenly asked me, what are you going to do? You heard something, ask for advice. I know a way. Du Linling said, but very dangerous. It was painful. No one has been able to do it since ancient times. He asked me, even so, do you want to try it too? Even at the risk of death, it's like I promised my little sister. I thought to myself that Ling Xuan would not be afraid. Won't go back. The pain of Xianye Lake in the northern regions. From every inch of bone marrow and flesh, as if someone was crushing my body inch by inch. I finally couldn't help but grunt, spit out a mouthful of blood. Crazy cough. This is a clear blue lake, beautiful as the purest sapphire. I sank on a pale boulder at the bottom of the lake, burn him with golden flames, until he slowly melts away. This indescribable pain makes me tremble all over. Sweat falls one by one. My consciousness is in a trance, just struggling to hold on. Skin and bone, dissolving alchemy. This is how King Juling taught me. There is only one immortal bone in a person's body. So you only have one sword, but there is one place. If you could take apart your body inch by inch, use your elixir fire there. Transform every bone into a bone sword. That place will pack every bone of yours into an immortal bone. To the last bone is also burned with joy. You become a body of fairy bones. Your bone is a sword. Every inch of your body is a sword. You are the sword. It is also a fairy, and your spiritual power will also be burned with joy. One step up, I asked if there was such a place in the world. Wouldn't everyone want to go? It's called the Fairy Fox. Fairy tears. You really take such a good opportunity. Du Linling's voice was mocking. If you weren't carrying fairy bones, with your cultivation, this fairy fox will in an instant dissolve you into a pool of water. Not even scum left, even if you have fairy bones. This lake is like deadly poison to you too. You're going to be shattered all the time. After all, Xianli's turbid wash. It's not something that the mortal body can bear. Du Linling said again, the turbid washing power of Xiantier Lake. Only laugh at everyone once. If you come out halfway, just give up. But you can rest assured in this lake. Your body and Jindan can use the power of the lake water, put it back together. It's just that the pain level will probably increase several times. Have you tried it too? I asked Du Linling as if in a trance. Then chuckled again. I don't have a fairy bone. With his cultivation base, he persisted in it for 3 months. 3 months until I entered the lake myself. I just knew Du Linlang's 3 words are light and windy. How much blood and tears were hidden, every minute here, pervasive pain. Will drive people into crazy situations, uncrumbling at the bottom of the lake. Almost none, wrap the body with spiritual power. Then keep extracting his own bones, smelting it, the elixir melts completely. Wake up and continue to condense. Linden repair, I melted again, to temper my bones. It's a long and painful process. I'm almost numb, forget the time, I also forgot who I am. It's just mechanical repetition. I don't know how long it's been, I heard my own voice. Who am I? Who am I? Where am I? I'm Ling Shuang, what am I doing? Why should I persist? I'm going to save someone. Who do I want to save? Where is he? Why should I save him? Who is it? Who is it? Why can't I remember? Ling Shuang, this is the reason why you draw your sword. This is the path you choose, this is the way to go. I remember now. I'm handsome, open your eyes. The nearly extinguished flame burned again, reflected on the pale rock, like a flower. The azure blue lake is as calm as ever. Only the figure sitting at the bottom, wrapped in golden flames. I can no longer see the original appearance, on the ladder. What did the Taikangzong hidden snow pavilion change again today? Who knows, it's been like this every now and then. Isn't the hidden snow pavilion the retreat of the sect master? Could it be that something happened to the sect master? Don't talk nonsense. I was scolded by my senior sister. Say it's not something we can inquire about. Deep in the hidden snow pavilion, Tai Kinki, the lethargic girl's limbs were chained, pointing to a thin white rope, white neck and arms, covered with wounds of various depths. Those wounds kept seeping blood into the pool, and the elixir watered with blood is growing rapidly. I don't know how long it's been. The girl's closed eyes suddenly opened. A pitch-black flame was burning quietly, where no one can see. He controls the flame, follow the golden vein. His flesh and blood are melting inch by inch. Inch by inch, the cold dissipates little by little. The color of the crystal core is getting darker and darker. He was shaking with pain. And I didn't say a word, didn't stop. Constantly coughing up black blood. Before another coma, and he looked out into the sky. That is the direction of Beiyu. That is the direction of senior sister. Yao Yu Yeo Feng sword. It's a desert as pale as bone, a man as small as dust, walking in this desert. Or he doesn't look like a person anymore. Her face was thin. Every trace of water on the body seems to be absorbed, dry skin against rugged bones. Many places are even cracked, but not much blood. The whole person is like a thin piece of paper. And behind him, a cat-tail so illusory that no one will notice. It grows at an extremely slow rate. Cats have 9 lives, 9 life and death. 3rd drought. I don't know how long I walked. The girl with only long snow-white hair suddenly raised his head, looking at the same pale moon in the sky. Unexpected, he has beautiful ice blue eyes. Empty and numb, but at this moment, a little bit of life has been restored. Moon, he murmured, twin sisters, West sister, someone took him out of that purgatory under the moonlight. Someone, smile and invite him to join a sect that doesn't exist. Tell him, Satsuki, you're going to be great. Someone once whispered to him that we were free. He was shaking. The hunched back straightened up little by little. Step out of this lonely desert. At the same time, the tail behind him seemed satisfied, shaking it lightly. The sect master of the forbidden area of the dead door. Didn't you say that the fairy tear pot will never be opened again? Beans aside, picking herbs, while asking the woman in purple beside her, he seemed lost. After a long time, he said, do you think he can succeed? Do you mean Sister Ling Shuang? The bean tilted its head. Doozy thinks he can do this. Du Linling twitched the corners of his lips. Then let's watch. Then I'll go make the medicine first. Doozy smiled and waved to Du Linling. Master, don't look at it for too long. Du Linling didn't answer. Decades ago, he is also standing in the same position. waiting for someone to come out. Dead door, death's gate. This is a place where mindless people are forged, the great sect of the cultivation world. You always need some trump cards that are not afraid of life and death. And the death door is the best place to explain, every year. Except for a very few disciples who were taken away by the sect masters and elders. The rest of the disciples were thrown into the immortal lake. Disciples without immortal fate will be melted in an instant. The boulder that fell to the bottom of the lake be the nourishment for the fairy lake. And disciples with immortal fate, no matter how long it takes. I always rejoice that I have the opportunity. Little do you know, they will be completely shattered in the next step, become a puppet without pain. Puppets can be better used to protect their lives. And the most successful disciples who were washed by turbidity, it will become the next shell of the elders and sect masters, the sect above the ladder, tacitly default to the existence of the dead door, just because every year, the dead door will sell them a lot of puppets. Du Linling sat in front of the forbidden area, chin dragging. I couldn't help laughing out loud. What a filthy world, these monks who seem to be in the sun. They all pretend to be so righteous and awe-inspiring. Little do you know, what a disgusting stinky soul under the skin. Linling, wait for my blood to turn all over my body. You can turn into a sword, then we will escape together. The delicate girl whispered to him. You can definitely persist, you trust me. Of course, he believes him, so he waited in front of this forbidden area for a long time. Waiting for a body that has lost its vitality. The two elders chatted and laughed. The sect master said that there is a fairy bone in this Du Hongdu. Highest qualification after being pegged. Need to leave him as a shell, we don't notice for a while. It almost made him really reborn. Fortunately, the big brother is smart. I gave him a goo in advance. When urged, he still wants to resist. I never thought he was a dead man. What's the room for rejection? It is the spirit bone that directly transports the divine soul in his body. There's nothing left. Just don't know, at that time, the body and the soul were suffering. What does it feel like to cross red beans? Your penchant for seeing pain really hasn't changed. No wonder you have to hire your own inspector every time you are happy. At that moment, my hands and feet were cold, like hell. Du Linling doesn't remember how he left. He only remembers that he worked hard to cultivate later. Favored by the elders, in come under the door, but chose to jump into Xiongye Lake. Obviously no fairy fate. He carried the sword that crossed the red beam, killed many people. The whole dead door was destroyed by his poisonous bones. Devastated, a dead silence, the elders and sect masters died as spirit bones. He was crouching down, watched their expressions carefully, and threw them into the lake of tears. I don't know that my body and soul are suffering. What do these beasts feel like? He learned about death, only Kochi. Top forbidden techniques for puppets. They all smiled at him, full of gratitude. He got his revenge. Saved all the imprisoned disciples with the help of the eight-tailed cat family. Escaped this hell. What's the use of that? What's the use of that? Du Linling will no longer use a sword in this life. Du Linling smiled and smiled. Tears burst into laughter. He took off his veil, revealing a hateful curse mark occupied the cheek. He had these marks all over him, gradually spreading from his heart to the cypress carcasses of his limbs. Body like bone, now his body has long been occupied by the ancient capital. At most 10 years left to live, Du Linling is not afraid of death. He did everything he could, it's already dead. And he stood up, go outside. He also believed that Ling Shuang could succeed. Maybe it's because when he said he was going to save someone, Du Linling suddenly remembered the distant years, the girl who also has fairy bones, red bean silk. Nangwu, my sword, is called Nangwu. Du Linling will no longer use the southern country in this life. Wanzhong Conference. This is a once-a-decade event in the cultivation world. Hosted by Zhang Tai on the ladder. It gets a lot of attention every time, gongs and drums. The sect hosting this time is Taking Sect, heard. Their sect master Tum Yuan Zhenren is in seclusion recently. It's rare to appear today. Shenren Mo Yuan in white, Wu Guan Qingzhen, the figure is fluttering like a fairy. At this time, there is a faint smile on his lips, announcing the beginning of the Wanzhong conference. Compete today, in plain sight. A sword came across, cut directly from the side of Mo Yuan Zhenren. Standing on the stone platform in front of him, a piece of cloth was cut off from the corner of his robe. Material nailed to the ground by sword. The palace was full of uproar. Immediately there was a commotion around him. The first elder suddenly shouted, "How dare you be in Taking Sect?" Impudent I walked out of the crowd. A black robe, step by step, came to them. The air slowly fell silent at this moment. I lifted my winter hat. Look at them expressionlessly. Ling Ling cream. I heard screams of horror coming from the crowd. Slightly turn your head. I saw the people of King Yun sect with wide eyes. And the first elder and the third elder on one side. It's like seeing a monster. It was amazing. Pity. At this point, they can no longer remember the slightest bit of my attention. I just turned my head and looked at Mo Yuan, Fairy Du Sopai. He now regained his graceful and dashing appearance. What is it for? I'm looking for an artist. Oh, Mo Yuan raised his eyebrows. Who is my little sister? I look up. Every bone in my body is humming. As soon as this sentence comes out, the audience suddenly fell silent. And Mo Yuan's expression also paused for a moment. Smile, this fairy. How could your junior sister appear in Taking Sect? I only asked once. The black robe on his body was rustled by the wind. And my eyes are like ice. Cold voice, my junior sister. Do you want to pay or not? He squinted. If you can't hand it over, how about a fairy? Then I will destroy you. Taking Sect, I said calmly. Both so. This seat also wants to ask. Mo Yuan's smile disappeared little by little. What ability do you have to say such a thing in my Taking Sect? Today, this which destroys the ceremony of 10,000 sects. I, the Taking Sect, will behead him in public. I hope you don't interfere. Not everyone can run wild on the ladder. The three elders on the side immediately said Taking Sect. Look at this dense crowd. Merge into a majestic force. Blocked me in an instant. Attack me. The suffering at the bottom of the lake. Those painful memories. The tears and blood that sank into my clothes in the dark. The ancient sword Wing Ming fell into his palm. Those promises and smiles under the moon. Those night rain butterflies that fall in their dreams. Those bright and fragmented lights. The sky is full of fireflies falling in my eyes. I looked at the ancient sword, as pale as snow in my hand. Little by little it lit up, brilliant and dazzling. Like the rising sun, I'm single. Is it amazing to climb the ladder? You are proud of your nobility, the dustless monk. Treat me and my little sister as ants. Vile and dirty, think you're strategizing. How would you know? Day after day, I'm thinking about how to turn up the sky. A sword fell. Or, like a shot in 9 days, like ginseng Longxiang. As if the impregnable protector ray didn't stop me, break in an instant. Afterwards, tens of thousands of disciples vomited blood and fell down. This sword. Return your hatred between the Taking Sect and me and the little junior sister. 2 swords fell, shook like thunder, angry like Zheng He in clear light. The first elder and third elder who have not yet reacted. I cut off all 4 limbs in an instant, let out a shrill scream, and the whole despised stone platform shattered into pieces. Like the Taking Sect in a fairyland, in an instant, I was devastated. Ruins everywhere. Return this sword to you. The grudge that trapped my junior sister for a year. 3 swords fell. All the immortal bones in my body screamed, like immortals, crying for the dirty and ugly truth. One day, I want to shatter mountains and rivers with 1 sword. Let this immortal on the stairway also avoid my edge. Because my junior sister is celestial yin, you become greedy, reckless. See him as a stepping stone to your ascension to immortality. All the black robes around me cracked inch by inch with this sword. I asked him what you've been talking and laughing about for 9 days. Have you ever thought that he is also a living person? I tell the truth, cause an uproar, there was a lot of talk. Mui Wan Zhenren looked at me in horror. Quickly draw your sword to resist. I can't say anything to refute for a while. King Yun sect Taikang sect. My hand holding the sword has used red blood. But I didn't know it, just near a place where dirt is hidden. There are still many people yearning for. How ridiculous, an extremely subtle sound rang out. It was Mo Yuan's sword that cut a crack in me. His face changed dramatically. I couldn't help but scream. You couldn't have missed the vow stage a year ago. What state are you in now? I was silent, but Mo Yuan has noticed. The golden thunder that came from the sky, he suddenly realized. Then there's a little sound quality between the eyes. It turns out that you have not yet survived the lightning tribulation. It's not really an achiever, even if you need to overcome. The crack in the eunuch is getting bigger and bigger. And I look down, looking down. It's still easy for me to kill you. At this time, there are suddenly thunderclouds in Taikang sect. How come? Mo Yuan abruptly retreated hundreds of steps. Turn your head and look in that direction. He looked puzzled. Boom, boom, boom. My heart. Suddenly, an indescribable premonition arose. I can't help but look in that direction. There is a huge black tower. At this moment, the golden thunder hit the spire. And the spire exploded. There is a figure standing in the lightning. Wrapped in pure black flame, it seems to have glanced at me from a distance. I knew at a glance who he was. Your junior sister has done her best before he was taken away. I extracted a heavenly yin source for you. Otherwise you'll mess around like that, will become useless. Also, I don't think you need to worry too much. I felt a breath in him, a pulse in Tianyin's body. There used to be a madman. Created a suicidal method of cultivation, break and then stand. As long as the spiritual power of cultivation is dissipated, broken Gendan. Where did he learn about this cultivation method? But I can feel it. He awakened Tianyin's starfire while burning the golden core. He will also be out of your sight. Ling Shuang with you. I don't know why. The heartless Misters Tianju at that moment. It seems that some crystal clear watercolor flashed in the eyes. The voice is also rare to soften a bit. You will not be alone. Du Linling is right. He was never alone. She emerged from that dark flame. Come to me step by step. Finally, a whole fair and beautiful face was revealed. He was clearly in tears, but still, as I remember, smiling at me. Sister, you came to me. I promised you. Take you to the eastern regions to see Dragon Ball. We chatted patiently in the eyes of the sky. They all ignored it tacitly. The pale-faced Taikang sect members, as if we were never apart. Sister, this time, we will fight side by side again. He said I said yes. He asked if you were afraid. I smiled, and I will destroy Taikang sect with one sword. He said what a coincidence. I also want the golden thunder to fall. One Rizifa, all around me, like a roaring dragon. My little sister and I both hold swords, together. Slash towards Zhenren Mo Yuan, who has already begun to flee in a hurry. One sword breaks mountains and seas. Two swords shattered the sky. New Year's girl sitting by my side. So, did the other sects just watch as Taikang sect was destroyed? Hearing half of the story, the children kept asking. And King Yun sect, did Swixen sect ignore them? What if you don't watch? The old man smiled and spread his hands. I can't beat it, the two sect masters of Swixen sect. But they are all the cultivation base of Dacheng 7. As for those people from King Yun sect, they were already terrified and begged for mercy. Not long after, he was killed by other cultivators who wanted to please the Swixen sect. What about the exterminated eight-tailed cat? He feels so sorry for him too. It can no longer be called eight-tailed cat. He is now the criminal law elder of Swixen sect. After inheriting the bloodline of the 9-life cat, the cultivation base has reached the integration stage. They are all amazing. Xiaotong's eyes lit up when she heard it. I also want to join Sui Xinzong in the future. Then you have to work hard to cultivate. I haven't reached the time to open the spiritual route yet. Xiaotong laughed and ran away. I'm going to find Sister Xiao Yu first. The old man smiled and shook his head. He turned around and walked into a room behind him. Xiao Shuangxiao. He said that Master Du Man sent a letter just now. When will you return to the sect? Uncle Village Chief, we just came back from the eastern regions. Let's just stay here a little longer, the little junior sister said with a smile. I haven't learned how to farm yet. Why would he write to us? I have some doubts. Take a look at the letter. Can't help but laugh. Where did Du Linlin write this? This is clearly the handwriting of Beans. Sister Lin Shuang, Sister Lin Shi, Sister Xiao Yu. When will you be back? The sect master recently asked me to learn to manage sect affairs. But Beans really just want to pick medicine. I don't understand those things. My head hurts. I asked the master. Does he want to be like you? Sneaked out to see Dragon Ball? And told him I could accompany him. He went to see, and he called me stupid. Hey, Beans are stupid. The master already knew. Why are you suddenly angry because of this? But the Beans have done a big thing recently. The sect master has promised Duzi not to be a demon in the future. Tell everyone what happened in the past, so people don't get us wrong. Although Beans don't care about other people's eyes. But Bean wants to be her sister's neighbor, and if it's Sister Handu, I must also want to see the sect master live better. The district had thought I didn't know about Sister Handu. These are all discovered by the Beans themselves. You mustn't tell him, miss your Beans. Lin Chi came over and read this letter with me. Laughing while watching, why do Beans only want to pick medicine? I said he was there to find the way to unlock the poison in Mr. Stu's body. Lin Chi was stunned. Did he find it? I don't know what I said. But I think he will find it. Lin Chi bent her eyes. Coincidentally, I feel the same way. Sister, he can definitely do it, just like you and me.